Dear audience, dear chair, I would like to present my progress on heart rate variability in anxiety disorder. More than 300 million people suffering from anxiety worldwide. The severity of anxiety is still assessed using self-reports and clinical judgment, methods which could be subjective and the symptoms could be hidden by the patient. In our systematic review and meta-analysis, we provide evidence for the first physiological indicators, namely heart rate variability, which could help me to personalize and diagnose this disease. Currently, our data cannot change the management of anxiety disorder, but it can highlight the importance for the further research on this topic. My name is Tamás Óvári. I'm a psychiatry resident and a PhD student. Together with my team, we share a clear vision, a world where every individual has the tool to diagnose anxiety disorder. To achieve that, we have two ongoing projects. The first is investigating the correlation between heart rate variability and anxiety severity as measured by standardized anxiety scales. Anxiety is the most prevalent mental health condition, and to diagnose this disease, we use scores and doctors' expertise, and we don't have objective and personalized diagnostic method. We know that patients with anxiety disorders have heart rate variability of different nature than healthy individuals, so usage of a smart heart rate monitoring can be a useful method to diagnose patients with anxiety. Our aim is investigating the effectiveness and accuracy of the heart rate variability in patients with anxiety. The heart rate variability is a time intervals between heartbeats, and it always reflects the external stress source, mental load, and a lot of other factors. So the dynamic HRV reflects as a healthy autonomic function too. In this project, our clinical question is, how does heart rate variability correlate with anxiety severity as measured by standardized anxiety scales? We use the PFO framework, where the P is the adult patients, the F heart rate variability, and the O is the severity of the anxiety. And our hypothesis is patients with anxiety exhibit significantly lower heart rate variability. We use this search key based on two domains. The first shows us the anxiety scales, and the second focusing on the HRV parameters. After the systematic search, we identified more than 10,000 articles, and at the end, we have 71 eligible full text. After that process, we ran the citation chaser, which give us 8 more eligible full text to our study. We finished our analysis based on correlation coefficients, and we used the Beck anxiety inventory, the Hamilton anxiety inventory, and the state rate anxiety inventory. If you have a higher score on those scales, your anxiety level is higher too. I would like to show our results. On this slide, we can see the correlation between heart rate variability and the Beck anxiety inventory. The Beck is a self-reported scale which focusing just the somatic symptoms, and it could be underrepresent the mental component of anxiety. But if we check the connection between them, we can see the inverse correlation. I will highlight the LF and HF domain. The LF shows the sympathetic and parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, while the HF shows the parasympathetic domain. We clearly see the inverse correlation with high heterogeneity. So if your anxiety level is higher, your HRVs could be lower. On the next slide, we can see this correlation with the Hamilton scales. Hamilton is the clinician-rated scales, which show us the mental and somatic symptoms at the same time. And here we can see clearly the inverse correlation, but I would like to focus on HF, high frequency domain, which shows a moderate correlation with high heterogeneity. And last but not least, I would like to show you the state rate anxiety inventory. It has two subscales. The state shows the current level of anxiety, and the trait will show us the long-term vulnerability. Here we can see the inverse correlation, inverse connection too, but if I highlight you the LF-HF ratio, we can see that results show us moderate correlation with moderate heterogeneity. So it could be a good method to use in acute anxiety phase. I would like to summarize our strength and limitation. Our strength, this is the first meta-analysis in this topic with scale-specific synthesis, and our limitation, unfortunately, the high heterogeneity, and we don't have standardized HRV protocols nowadays. To summarize, we find weak to moderate correlation. So we should focus on the parasympathetic indicators in practice, but we need more larger studies with standardized protocols. We identified 5 potential journals, and we would like to submit our work end of September. So let's jump our second topic. It's comparing different therapeutic approaches for the management of anxiety disorder. We have 3 treatment options to manage this disease: the single pharmacotherapy, the CBT, and the combined treatment. In that case, our aim to find the best therapeutic option for patients with anxiety disorder. To prove that, we came up with a clinical question: which therapeutic approach is the most effective and safe in reducing the severity levels of anxiety? In this case, we use the PICO framework, and our hypothesis is combined treatment is more safe and effective in reducing the level of anxiety comparing with pharmacotherapy or CBT alone. So we have 2 ongoing projects, and we would like to submit our work end of September. And unfortunately, anxiety usually leaves the individuals in the darkness. So I would like to close my presentation with a quote from Albus Dumbledore: "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. Are there any questions from the... Yes, please.
Very nice topic. My question would be regarding the first project. I was wondering if you have the same patient coming to measure for the heart, take the measurement for the heart rate at 2 visits. How would you define this heart rate variability between the 2 visits? So what would you consider a big change or a diagnosis for anxiety given the heart rate variability?
Thank you for the question. This change will show us the healing phase, so it could be related with the second project. On the first project, it's a one-time measurement, and we can give a diagnosis after that one-time measurement.
But is it measured in beats per minute? Is it measured in milliseconds? So
beats per minute.
And what's the number? So what's the diagnostic threshold for you to say that it's a variability?
We don't have a standardized method yet, so I can't answer that currently, but I hope in the future we will find that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. While you are still considering the questions, is this variability determined from a relatively short registration or a Holter monitoring, like a 24-hour heart rate measurement? So how should we imagine that?
During our systematic search, we identified a lot of articles, and if we check the time of the measurement, sometimes they use the 5 minutes measurement, 24 hour, and I found one article where the monitoring time was a week long.
I see.
So this is one of the reasons our high heterogeneity.
Yes.
My question relates to the first project and the heart rate variability. However, the treatment you mentioned in the second project. So I was wondering about the effectivity of the treatment, because we do know well as a majority of the patients do not respond for the first SSRI and the other drugs. So do you have any data about that as regarding to the responsiveness of the patient, whether it has any effect of this heart rate variability?
Excellent question, and I hope after we finished with the second topic I can answer that, but based on the studies the most effective way will be the combined treatment option.
Thank you.